Fellas, we gotta talk about this. This is a big deal. What if I told you someone from Valorant is actually going to go work at Bungie? A competitive PvP game like Valorant. How the hell does that have anything to do with Destiny? We meme on Destiny all the time about its supposed competitiveness. But tweeted out here from Ziegler, former Valorant game director, update. Happy to announce my new home is at Bungie, working on new stuff that hopefully will one day get to be played by you all. Much love. Now let's be real here, guys, because I know everybody was like, oh my god, yes, Destiny is about to become competitive. Fellas, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I don't think this is gonna be for Destiny. Matter of fact, based on his tweet, sounds like it's for Bungie's new IP, whether that's Matter or something else, and it's probably going to be Matter, just saying. But per an article back in August, Bungie actually was hiring a game director for a new PvP FPS competitive game, something in which Ziegler here has a lot of experience with. And by the way, if I'm butchering that guy's last name, I'm sorry. Now, when we actually go and look at Ziegler's LinkedIn, not only do we see his plethora of experiences across different studios for the past 15 years, but we also see he's actually been a game director at Bungie for 1 month. Now, last time I checked, Joe, as in Joe Blackburn, still had the job. So this is definitely the new competitive PvP position. I know some of you like Cross can have more than one game director. You're right. All I'm trying to do is taper expectations, especially for my PvP players that are thinking this position is for Destiny. And I just don't think it is, guys. Now, the flip side of things, I don't know if people realize how big this actually is. A game director means we're entering a new stage of development of this project. Earlier this year, we made a video about the future of Bungie and the majority of the discussions surrounding emerging IPs from Bungie, most notably due to the acquisition there with Sony, or I guess partnership with Sony. And I know everybody's like, that's just for the TV show. Watch what we say. Now, back then, we looked over many hires that Bungie was making for the incubation projects. We also had a list of unannounced gaming projects Bungie is currently developing. This posted by Destiny Bulletin, a brand new RPG game, a new competitive game, a survival game, a third-person action game, a competitive Destiny game, Project Nebula, which we think is just Lightfall, but definitely the most substantial, Project Goliath, which we think is also Destiny related, FPS mobile game, which may just be like one of these other games, but made into mobile, and an animated show. Think like Edge Runner or Arcane, but for the Destiny universe. And if you think you can't make a TV show out of Destiny's lore, oh my god, you haven't actually paid attention. The lore in this game is endless. Now, the one we wanted to focus on is this new competitive game. We actually don't think this is going to be Destiny related at all. Bungie's still trying to fix or perfect the ranking system within competitive as of now. Most likely, this is going to be their entirely new IP. And if you're concerned about the talent that's actually going to be working on these new IPs, or at least one of these new IPs, don't be. One of them is actually game director Christopher Barrett. Some of you probably already know him, but the man and his team were responsible for things like Rise of Iron and Forsaken. He has since moved on to whatever one of these new projects is, hence the TBA in his Twitter profile. And I'm just gonna say this, guys. Bungie doesn't like not having a competitive PvP game. Think about it. They were the kings of competitive PvP back in the Halo glory days. A lot of those guys are still around. So don't think for 1 second they don't want to have a competitive PvP experience to offer diehard PvP players. Personally, I like the chaotic nature of Destiny's PvP. That's just me though. Call me a casual. But them picking up not only a game director affiliated with a PvP game, but a Valorant game director, that's huge. Now, we think Bungie wants to make something more akin to like a lighthearted cartoon style PvP game versus a more grounded, realistic shooter. And if this has any indication in relation to Matter's logo design, I would assume so. Granted, we thought Lightfall was going to be like some dreary expansion, right? And it turns out it's a neon show. Now, personally, guys, I would expect to see this game announced sometime near the end of next year. Bungie has already made it a goal to push out a new IP by 2025. And given the state of development this PvP game appears to be in, it looks to take that spot. Again, we have Lightfall. Then we have the final shape, which will be a launch in 2024. So having something lined up in 2025, you see where I'm going with this? Now, this does make us ask, what about the state of Destiny and Bungie with the new IP on the horizon? Now, from this year's GDC presentation, Justin Truman actually confirmed that we know Bungie's development team working on Destiny 2 right now is very similar in size to the team that shipped out Destiny 2 at launch. Despite the mass hiring Bungie has been doing for the past 3 years, it appears most of these people are going to work on other games, other IPs, etc. We used to think that Destiny was growing, but the reality is it's actually Bungie who is growing. This might be contributing to the current apathetic sentiment toward the game held by a lot of players right now. We've seen across all of YouTube and Twitch players that folks seem to be less interested in Bungie's seasonal model, and there was definitely a dip of interest in Season of the Plunder. Personally, guys, I have very much been enjoying Season of the Seraph, especially the narrative, man. Clovis is like one of my favorites. Now, Bungie hasn't exactly pulled away from development for Destiny. Obviously, that's their main breadwinner, and we don't really know know if they've actually increased it by much though. Bungie is not fully committing all of the resources to Destiny. And the speculation is the reason why there's been so few PvP updates in the past 2 years is because PvP teams that used to work on Destiny have all been pulled off to work on new titles. Granted, those guys could start pouring back into Destiny as soon as they get this title ready to launch. Are we excited about this new title that Bungie is working on? Sure. Of course, we'll be covering all the updates on this new game. With that being said though, Destiny is a very, very unique game, and it would be a shame for Bungie to divert their attention and resources away from Destiny towards some new endeavor that falls flat. I will say though that the people that they are actually bringing onto Bungie are very promising. Multiple people from Riot Games, and you're probably wondering what the hell is the affiliation here between Riot Games and Bungie? It's actually because of Joe Blackburn. If you remember, Joe actually left Bungie to go work for Riot Games, and when he came back to Bungie, he became a game director, and on top of that, one of the best game directors we've ever had for Bungie, and he brought a lot of folks from Riot with him. Needless to say, guys, it seems like the dream team is assembling over at Bungie. Some of them working on Destiny, others working on new IPs. Do I want Bungie's new IP to succeed? Yes, I do. I hope it's a phenomenal game, whatever it is. At the same time, Destiny is such a unique game, and even though it has hit some lows here and there, it has set itself apart from all of the competition, being one of very few games in its space, successfully at that. So again, I hope that Destiny 2 continues to thrive even past the final shape, and Bungie's even mentioned that the future of Destiny won't stop with the final shape. Now, whether that means they actually take a break from Destiny 2, and this could potentially be a reality, guys. After the final shape, Bungie could start rolling out these new IPs that they definitely have to start rolling out, considering the money that Sony's put up this past year. But during that time, we could potentially see Destiny 2 start prepping for a Destiny 3. And I do think a Destiny 3 will eventually have to happen, unless Destiny 2 can somehow be overhauled and we get some sort of like major engine breakthrough. I wouldn't hold my breath on that, guys, because again, posted the other day from Zuhad over on the Game Post, Bungie's new third-person game is still going to be using Destiny's Tiger engine. And this was actually listed under the responsibility sections stating build and maintain networked gameplay systems, workflows, and tools in Bungie's Tiger engine, and senior engineer level ability to navigate activities, gameplay, bugs, and workflows in Bungie's Tiger engine. And for my folks thinking that this may still just be Destiny related, they literally state, are you excited to help build a brand new third-person action game, expanding Bungie's best-in-class gameplay into a new genre? Furthermore, Bungie was also hiring a senior engineer to help efficiently share code of its internal game engine with multiple projects. The ideal candidate will improve the separation of the game and engine layers to allow us to integrate engine changes more easily between different game projects. So when people ask for a Destiny 3 because they want a new game engine, and don't get me wrong, having the game perform better for everybody is obviously something we all want. But stated later in that article, the original Destiny and Destiny 2's Tiger engine is a heavily modified version of Bungie's original Blam engine, which used to develop the Halo games. Now, guys, I don't know anything about engines. I mean, I know Unreal Engine, and I know there's different modifications to it every year, but fundamentals are essentially still the same. I guess you could take a 2 or 3 decade old engine and continue just modifying it, but would that work in the space that Destiny, and of course, these new IPs are going to be rolling out in? We talk about the limitations that Destiny has. Bungie even brought up the reason why we didn't get the actual weapon crafting system where we could go through and unlock traits for our weapons permanently is because of some sort of data limitation, but that they were working on it. So there's obviously limits here to the Tiger engine. Granted, it's arguably why most of us fell in love with the feel of Destiny's first-person shooter elements. Regardless though, I'm excited about the future of these new IPs. I'm excited about whatever it is Bungie is working on. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.